welcome to the Reformation News. I'm Tyler with my colleague Mike.
During the 16th century, there was many disputes over the Christian doctrine, and that led to many new Protestant groups. During this time, there was conflict between the Protestant groups and Catholic groups over their many beliefs.
The ongoing corruption in the Catholic Church caused people to rise up and voice their complaints.
Today we will be discussing this topic along with our field reporter. At the start of this religious reformation, Martin Luther and his German Reformation helped initiate this whole thing, where he had many beliefs that were spread throughout Germany, and many of these beliefs were such as...
Well, on October 31st, he posted his 95 Theses on the door of a castle in Wittenberg, which included his belief against indulgences and other complaints he had against the church. And one of his main focal points was his idea of justification by faith alone. That means he believed that as long as you had faith, you got salvation from God. You didn't need any good works or to help you achieve salvation, like the Roman Catholic Church approved of.
And his many ideas spread through the German lack of political unity, of how it had so many different provinces and states and stuff like that, where all these things were easily spread and that they couldn't control all of Germany's one religion. And now to Derek in the...
Martin Luther entered a debate in Leipzig against Professor John Eck, where he challenged the infallibility of the Pope, and he argued that only two sacraments, baptism and the Eucharist, were proper. Martin Luther presented his views at the Diet of Worms, called by Charles V, where he was ordered to recant his views, but he did not and went into hiding, and therefore he was put on imperial ban and was excommunicated from the church.
The Diet of Worms is now in session.
Good morning, Emperor Charles.
Good morning, Luther. I've heard that you have been going against church doctrine and spreading anti-Catholic beliefs.
Well, yes, I have, because the Pope is the Antichrist.
Please recant your views immediately.
I will not.
You're excommunicated from the church.
No! And now, for a quick commercial break. Our new product, the complaint cards. When you come down to your local tavern, you ask for one of these new complaint cards. Then while your bartender's grabbing your cup of whatever you need, then you write down what you want. Once he comes back, you're going to hand him his money, and then you're going to put your card in the jar. And then you take your cup and go. Later on that day, it'll be posted on a message board that will be for everybody to hear. This is our message board. You have these many complaint cards here that read many things such as, oh, that the Catholic Church is selling indulgences, this is so unfair to the poor, and all these things are hurting us. And then there's many things like that. Oh look, there's even more being posted right now. So this is the greatest idea for us at this time, to help the Catholic Church become noticed of our many problems.
So, German peasants at first saw Luther as an ally. Peasant leaders saw Christian freedom in Luther's teaching, and at first Luther sympathized to the peasants. When the peasants became violent, Luther condemned them as unchristian. Now back to Mike in the studio.
Thanks, Derek. Now that Derek has talked about Martin Luther's ideas and beliefs during the German Reformation, we're going to cut to Tyler to talk about how the Reformation spread to other places.
At this time, the Reformation began to spread to many places, and new types of religions like Calvinism, Zwinglianism, and Anabaptism began to form. In Switzerland, Zwingli was the main part of reform there. He believed in the right for the clergy to marry and to end clerical celibacy. He, like Luther, he was against indulgences and religious superstition. Now Derek and Mike are going to talk about Anabaptism and Calvinism.
They were founded in Geneva, Switzerland by John Calvin, who made Geneva a paradise for women through its desire to have better society with spiritual and moral goals. And as throughout the course of the Reformation, Calvinism became the dominant force over Lutheranism in Europe.
And also, the anti-Trinitarians were the strongest opponents of Calvinism.
Now back to Tyler.
In an attempt to unite German and Swiss Protestants, Philip of Hesse set up the Marburg Colloquy. He brought Zwingli and Luther into his castle to try and settle their differences with their beliefs of their religions. It failed, and they both left hating each other like they did before. Sadly.
Hello, Philip Hess. Thank you for inviting us into your castle. But why have you brought us here?
To work out your differences on your beliefs.
How can we work out our differences when this man over here still thinks the Eucharist is taken spiritually while it's purely a symbol?
Fine, we can't.
Oh well. Well, you're still a dangerous fanatic like I thought you were in the beginning.
During the Lutheran Reformation, there was the Diet of Augsburg, which was called together by Charles V, which was a meeting of Protestant and Catholic groups. This had led to the Augsburg Confession, which was a moderate Protestant statement that was said by the Schmaldic League, which was an alliance for the defense of the Protestants. This eventually led to the Peace of Augsburg, which had said that the Protestant group of the Lutherans were officially a religious group, but this had not extended recognition to the Calvinists and the Anabaptists and other radical groups. King Henry VIII started the English Reformation because his wife Catherine would not produce any sons, and he wanted a divorce with her. But when the Pope found out, he would not let a divorce happen between Henry VIII and Catherine because it was against the Catholic beliefs.
Because the Pope wouldn't allow the divorce of King Henry VIII and Catherine, King Henry VIII started the Anglican Church. Then Parliament passed Act of Supremacy, which declared Henry the only supreme head in earth of the Church of England.
One of the many things that King Henry VIII tried to do to unite the churches of England into the new Anglican Church was he passed the first and second Act of Uniformity, which the first Act of Uniformity imposed Thomas Cranmer's Book of Common Prayer over all churches in England. And then the second one revised this one, the Book of Prayer, to make all churches have this new one.
The increasing power of the Protestant Reformation caused the Catholic Church to look in on itself to make reforms. Out of that came various groups like the Theatines, Capetians, Barnabites, and Jesuits to make higher levels of the church-state reform.
Ignatius of Loyola and the Jesuits were the most successful during the Counter-Reformation. They were also known as the Society of Jesus, and they taught good Catholics how to deny themselves and submit without question to higher church authority and spiritual direction.
Another reform taken by the Catholic Church was the Council of Trent. It was organized and strictly controlled by the Pope.
It was 3 sessions spread over 18 years, and the most important reforms concerned internal church discipline, which also had the limit of curtail of selling of church offices and other religious goods. and also not a single doctrinal concession made to the Protestants.
The many actions taken by these religious reformers have changed Europe's religious views for a long time.
Thank you for watching. Good night, and hope you join us tomorrow.